What's up, guys? Kevin here. So this is my review of the Xbox Series S. Bought it yesterday, played a few games. It is exactly what I thought it would be. So that's why I'm putting out my review early. And I got to say, thank you, Microsoft, for putting out a very budgeted console at $300. That is very cheap. Same price as the Switch right now. Switch OLED is going to be $50 more expensive here in a couple months. But I really want to thank Microsoft for, instead of people saying like, oh, they should have just dropped the price on the One X and just had that alongside the Series X, not the Series S. And those bozos, if you ever hear anyone talk like that, just stop following them. Leave a comment saying, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. Please stop talking about video games. Because that's it. They don't know what they're talking about. They wanted a console that has a 2013 Jaguar cores that were asked back when it released. They much rather have that around than the Series S. Yeah, no. No, they can't talk about video games anymore. Bye-bye. It just really pisses me off because what they're saying is, no, let's keep 30 FPS gaming around. Let's keep 30 FPS gaming around. Instead, the Series S has an updated CPU. It's the same CPU that's in the Series X, I do believe. If it's off by very little. It has an SSD. I believe the same SSD that's in the Series X, just 512 gigs, which is an issue. I'll say it's an issue. Not for me, because I only play 1 or 2 games at a time. But something with Game Pass where you're probably going to download a lot of games. Yeah, it's an issue, but you can buy proprietary storage that's available on like PlayStation 5. And also, it runs games at 60 FPS. That is my biggest win for this console. And I was just happy to see, man, this $300 console is running all these games at 60 FPS. And these wackos wanted the Xbox One X around to run, games at 30 FPS? No. And the reason why I'm happy this exists is this is a console that's going to be for the casual crowd. It's going to be for the grandparents that let me go grab a console for when the grandchildren come over a couple times a year. People that, I don't really play much games. Let me buy this $300 console. And maybe a lot of people, maybe their first console was the Switch. That's all they played on. This will be a great step up. Not everyone buying this has been gaming forever and bought every console and expects greatness. No, this is more for the casual crowd. I know there's some hardcore people that bought it. Some really hardcore people that use this as an emulator. Hey, great there too. But yeah, it just really ticks me off when people say they should have just kept the Xbox One X around. No, go away. Stop talking about games. You're a fraud. You don't know what you're talking about. Bye-bye. So, yeah, I'm just really happy with the performance of this machine. It is a 60 FPS machine. That means anyone who gets into gaming is probably going to buy this because it's $300. If not, they're going to get a PS5 or Series X, and those are 60 FPS machines as well. And I'm just so happy that it's setting the standard. It's really helped setting the standard that 60 FPS is the minimum. And now the more I think about it, the more I'm angry that Nintendo is not giving us a Switch Pro. We're not getting games at 60 FPS. Skyward Sword is. It plays great. But Nintendo's holding us back. Anyone saying the Series S is holding gaming back? No, it's the Nintendo Switch. It is the market leader. It is the best seller. Game companies are going to make games that run on that. And it is not a powerful machine. It cannot run games at 60. Unless they're Nintendo that has some type of spells they cast in their games that get that thing running at 60. But for the majority of games on the Switch, no. So I'm really happy this exists, especially at that price point. In my video I did months ago, crying that hey, this console should exist because this is what you get for $300. For $300, this is the console that Microsoft made. You can't do any better. You can't. We all want it to be better, We want everything to be better. But for $300, this is what you get. And my whole thing back there is like, is this allowed to exist or not? Because people made it sound like this console is not allowed to exist because it's not powerful enough. Oh, it's going to hold gaming back. Which, yeah, I got a little bit of concerns, but for right now, I don't have any concerns. That's years down the road. Years down the road. And the best thing I've heard is just what ifs. It's like, oh, years down the road, when we're really, truly the next gen, the Series S is going to hold everything back. Well, guess what? There's a thing called cloud gaming. They would just, if they absolutely can't get games, and this would be very, very few high-budgeted, big, gigantic games, if they can't get it running on the Series S, what they would do, they would just put it on, do a cloud version. I think Switch does it, like Control and other games. I don't want that to happen, and I don't think it will happen. I think this is the new baseline. I think this will be 1080p. Yeah, maybe it'll dip down to 900, 720p 60, but as long as it keeps hitting 60 FPS, this is a great machine. Now, that being said, Yakuza Like a Dragon. When I put it on the first time, I think maybe because I was playing on a 3080 last time I played it, I turned to Series S, I was like, oh God, that's nasty. It's not pretty. I got used to it very quickly. A lot of aliasing, a little bit hazier, a little bit foggier. It looked like a Switch game, I would say. If they were to get Yakuza Like a Dragon running on the Switch, it probably looked like that. Obviously, it's going to look better on the Series S, but yeah, it definitely took me some time to get used to. In the end, you buy these game consoles to play games, and within a few minutes, I was over the visuals looking a little rough. The aliasing, a little flickering here and there, I can't stand that. But it was really Yakuza Like a Dragon. I mainly had an issue with that there. And that was like one of the very first games for the console, so I guess it makes sense. So, yeah, if you're coming from like a Series X, a PC, down to playing to a Series S, it might be a little hard to get used to. But that being said, just like the Switch, when I'm playing a great Switch game, yeah, I'll go, oh, this looks gross. But within a couple minutes, if it's a great game, I'm just engrossed in the great game. I'm not cared too much about the visuals. So, yeah, I mean, this is my review for the Series S. I recommend it if you're, maybe a casual gamer, want to save money. For the price of a PS5 disc version or Series X, you can get this in, 2 years of Game Pass? That's great value. That is great value. Again, if you're really into gaming, yeah, I would get, at the very least, a PS5 digital. If you can go up an extra $100, I would definitely go with the PS5 digital. But for $300, it just doesn't get better than this. And again, anybody that says that they should have just kept with the One X over the Series S, I don't want to say that. I was going to say they deserve a kick in the nuts, but they're frauds, they're losers, they don't know what they're talking about. They still live in a world where 30 FPS is fine, and it's not. It is absolutely not. That's why people are getting angry at the Steam Deck. Someone, I guess, working on a Steam Deck says they're targeting 30 FPS, and they had to come out and say, no, games can run at 30 FPS, but it can definitely go higher. Which for that, okay, it's handheld, but you can see it's disappointing. 30 FPS is disappointing, and that is my biggest happy moment with these next-gen consoles is I think we are really done from 30 FPS, and we're moving on. I think every game besides Atelier Ryza 2 has run at 60 FPS. And it makes me want to cry. Makes a grown man want to cry. Because 60 FPS should be the minimum. And the Series S is giving you that. And for that, that is my recommendation. If you just want a console, want to save money, get yourself a Series S. It's a great machine. Great machine. All right, so that's my review. Let me know what you think if you have it, if you like it. Yeah, lack of storage could be better. A lot of things could be better, but this is what you get for $300. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you later. Later.